us now from Melbourne is the Spectator Australia's Fire at Will podcast host, Will Kingston. Will, it's great to see you in Australia. Although you're in Melbourne, we have to start with what's going on in the UK. Last week, UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer announced that his Labor Party is implementing tough new immigration laws with regards to work, family settlement and student visas. Now, in my opinion, this has nothing to do with his core values of keeping, borders secure, and has everything to do with the rise of Nigel Farage's party, Reform UK. Now, we know that Farage's popularity has absolutely skyrocketed. And now Keir Starmer is battling, within his own party against MPs, and the rest of the public is, quite sceptical about what he actually believes. So what's your take on all of this? Will Starmer's flip-flopping actually help him, or will people see right through it?
Gabriella, I agree with everything you just said, with one important amendment, and that is you made an assumption that Keir Starmer has core values, and I'm not sure that he does. Look, the problem is that you can't just take the public for idiots like this. When you have a record over a long period of time where you've been open borders, where you've been anti-Brexit, where you've been pro-multiculturalism, and suddenly, after you get absolutely hammered in local council elections and your party is facing an existential wipeout, you suddenly go to the right of Nigel Farage. So the problem is for him goes to credibility. No one believes him. In many respects, it was a strong speech, but it was a strong speech by a weak man, and everyone knows that he's a weak man when it comes to borders. So I don't think it will work. The latest polls have said that he is the second least popular Prime Minister, or has the second lowest number for favourability in recorded UK political history. I can't see it getting any better. If he can make a dent on the numbers of legal and illegal migration over a long period of time, don't forget that there is an election in 2029, maybe he can start to claw back that perception. But the fact of the matter is no one believes him in the UK.
Yeah, and he set no real targets, so you can't really hold him accountable. So, it's an interesting one. But can you talk to us about Nigel Farage? He's had the momentum behind him for some time, but he's still dominating in the polls. Why is that?
Well, I go back to what you said about core values. I think he has a series of core values, and I think those values are aligned with the moment that the UK faces. So really, what he's just saying is that mass migration in the UK has changed the cultural fabric of the country, and this is now the #1 defining issue in the United Kingdom. It will be in Australia in years to come, by the way, but the UK has reached crisis point on it, and he is talking a big game on that. And also, he is playing into the fact that the Conservative Party have effectively squandered their recent time in office. They haven't come out strongly enough, really, to say that we are now a Conservative Party again, as opposed to the centrist or soft left party they have been. So he's just doing what a Conservative Party should say they should do on the tin. He's basically saying we're going to be pro-business, we're going to go back to a reduced migration, and we're going to have pride in the United Kingdom again. And I think there is a lesson in that for Australia as well, in that if you actually have a bit of gumption, if you have a bit of backbone, and you say, these are Conservative values, we're not going to be cowed by the establishment media, we're not going to be cowed by other politicians who say we need to move to the centre, as is what we heard in the Australian election, there is a lane for you. But unfortunately, it requires a charismatic leader, and it requires someone who has really strong political skills like Farage in order to do that. And there aren't many of those in Australia, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're absolutely right.